Well, you see, there's a lot of intricate layers to the road.
I'm Dylan Ferguson, and you're listening to the Business Partners Podcast. Wait a minute. Sorry, who are you and what are you doing in my house?
Patrick's not here today, so I'm filling in for him.
That's right, we have a special guest, Fiona. Our very first hashtag friend of the show. How's it going?
It's going good. I'm very happy to be here.
That's good. Someone has to be. Anyways, yeah, so, for those who didn't watch the recent vlog, A, what the hell are you doing? And B, we have just graduated from our program. Woot, woot. So yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah, so with the grad, like, kind of give me a rundown on, like, how you thought about it, you know?
I found it interesting. You know, I've never graduated. Well, that's not true. I graduated high school. I never graduated. It was very intense.
How did I get here? What are you doing?
Well, it's very different from my high school graduation. Mainly because it was more than 5 people.
Oh, okay.
I didn't expect it to be so, like, standy-uppy.
Oh, yeah.
It was a sort of like, when you walk down here, and then you wait in line, and then you get your gown, and then you wait in line, then you stand up for a million years, and then you walk down a corridor, then you walk outside, then you stand there, and you listen to stuff, you sit down, then you get up, you wait in line, then you get your degree, and then you're done.
Basically.
You wait in a line again.
Well, the thing is, we're actors. We should be used to the, you know, just stop and start and stop and start, you know? But that was an absolute sauna. Like, it was burning in there. Like, it doesn't help that, like, I made the dumb decision of being like, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to wear my suit. So I'm just going to burn to death even more. But it's commitment to the fit, right?
Also, like, it's a hockey arena. It's supposed to be cold. Why didn't they just put on the really crazy air conditioning that all hockey arenas have?
That's what I thought. I was like, hey, wait, I was really hoping that, like, the ice would still be on there. And I could just, like, just full on Frozone, just skate right up to get my diploma.
That would have been funny.
I wish that was the case.
Speaking of walk out to get your diploma, did you see Wynn's, like, walk to the
The thing was that she went right after me, so I couldn't. Well, I could have, but I didn't want to. But yeah, because I was kind of busy, you know, just doing my typical rocker, just like. And then I see the vlog, and I was like, what? It's on brand.
It's very on brand for Wynn. It was just funny.
Yeah. See, for me, it's a little weird because my last graduation was actually here on campus because I graduated from Maribel. We had ours in the theater over there.
Oh.
And a funny story about it. So there's another guy in my year. His name was Delroy Ferguson. So they give him his diploma, supposedly. And then I give my card to the guy who's reading. And he's like, Dylan Ferguson? And I was like, yes. And then I go up, and then he calls. And then I go up to the principal, who, not gonna name names, but you know who you are. I despise you with all of my being. Anyways, so I go up, shake hands with her, and she's like, switch your diploma with him. And I'm like, what? And I walk over, stand next to him, because they're doing like 5 at a time. They all get off stage after. And I look down, and he has mine, and I have his. So it's just like, if something bad had to happen, it would happen to me, because, well, yeah. So we exchanged them on stage, and everyone's just dying of laughter. And I was just like, yeah, this would fucking happen.
In my graduation, I was the only girl, and it was me and 5 other guys.
Really?
Yeah. Well, because I went to a private school in Lansdowne because my parents didn't want me to go to public school because they were scared I was going to get beat up.
Oh.
So I went to a private school in Lansdowne. And because no one really wants to go there, especially if you're an artist, because they don't have a lot of art programs there.
Okay.
But because no one really wants to go there. Like, my class in grade 7 started out with 50, and then it dropped down to 6 by the time I was in grade 12.
Oh my God.
No one except for me and one other guy that I'd known since the beginning were like from the original 50. The other people either graduated or left. So it was me and then 5 other guys, most of whom like transferred like the year before or like that year. So like, yeah, it was. So if like I have the photos and if you look at them, it's just these 5 guys just sitting there. And then on the corner, you have me in like this blue-red iridescent dress and striped heels and this giant hat.
Wait, so like that is so like how long did that ceremony take?
Not that long. Well, the thing is like because we were so little, we had to write our own little speeches. So I got to stand up there and do my own graduation speech. And also another thing is like it was in like the OMS like we graduate because it was like COVID. We were just coming off of COVID, and also I fought tooth and nail to get like more people to come because I had people that wanted to go.
Right.
But we had it outside in the sweltering heat. It wasn't as bad as the year before, but it was sweltering heat, and like I don't know, like it was on grass. So like I actually almost fell over trying to get my diploma.
Oh my God.
I was like walking, I'm like.
I can just imagine how painful that would be. It's just like, you take a step, heel digs into the grass, just fall like straight back over, just like, just climactic music, just like.
It's a bit funny.
That I can already picture the edits of that. Like that'd be great.
If Patrick had known me before, was at my graduation, he would have filmed it.
Oh, absolutely. That would be like a recurring thing. I hope that's a recurring joke. Yeah. Because the thing is, for the past vlog, I really wanted to do something, comedic. But the thing was, I was so tired from the previous night because I went to bed at like 3 a.m, as I usually do. And I was planning this whole thing out, and I was just like, okay, I'm going to have a recurring gag where I walk into doors, do something like that. But I didn't really, and also because my dad would be like, Dylan, what are you doing?
Are you drunk again?
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, no, you see, and I'd have to explain to him the intricacies of the vlog. It's just like, okay, so here's the lore of the vlog. There's a segment where I get cut off every 5 seconds into it. And it would be sad explaining that.
The lore. The vlog lore.
Well, you see, there's a lot of intricate layers to the vlog. First off, there is the door.
What's really funny is, speaking of the vlog, what's funny is that started off as just parroting Danny's vlog, and it just became, because Danny stopped, it just became Patrick's thing. And what's funny is, when he first did it, like, the first person you see other than him is me. He's like, what's your favorite day, Fiona? And I, not knowing, I was like, Friday. He's like, no, it's a vlog day. I was like, oh.
I don't know. I mean, that's a great opinion. It's just like, what's your favorite day?
Friday. Yeah, because like, and also, it's funny watching it back, because like, it's like you made your debut in the first vlog as well, because the first vlog was the day we all got our headshots. Well, Patrick didn't ever get his, but when we all collectively did our headshots.
That was a fun day.
I just remember, like, because on the graduation day when I was getting ready, I was marathoning the vlog.
Okay.
Just to remember. And I remember seeing you for the first time. It's just that fucking, you're just like, you can't see what I'm doing, but it's really funny.
Yeah, that was I remember that whole day. We were just like I think that's the first time where I really talked like a lot.
Yeah. Well, we didn't do anything that day. We
Yeah.
sat in a room. Wind played Christmas music on a loudspeaker. And we all just collectively went insane.
I remember just all of us just singing Feliz Navidad.
Yeah.
That was great. That was
That
wonderful.
Actually, speaking of like first things, do you remember how we met? Like the first time we actually collectively, like you and I, like spoke to each other.
I don't think I do actually.
I wanted to bring this up because it's adorable. Because I cherish that memory. So it was you, me, Wind, Folk, and another human whom we both have had association with, who we're not gonna name. And we were all like, Wind wanted to get like these donuts at like a donut cart, so we all just collectively went over.
I remember this.
And we were waiting for the donuts, and I was bored, so I started singing "Edge of Dawn" from Fire Emblem Three Houses, and you joined in.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what that is?
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, someone who actually understands my nerdy ass enjoyments.
You want to know about my theory?
Let's do this. And
Yeah.
see, the thing is, there's not a lot of stuff I can geek out on. But then at that moment, I was just like, oh my god, no way. Someone who actually gets it. And then, like, it was just, well, that sounded edgy. It's just like, someone understands. Like, sit to me.
No, it was really funny, and then we just, for the rest of that entire day, we just talked about like what routes we hate or what routes we like and the characters. That was fun.
That was awesome.
That was a very enjoyable time.
That was great.
Transition stick.
Transition stick. Yeah, so I guess we've basically kind of just gone into it anyways, but like, like any thoughts on the program and like, fun memories and whatnot.
I think I was, when I went into college, I was very skeptical because by the end of high school, I had become incredibly like bitchy and ornery because like most of my friends had left, and I didn't really have much like motivation because like, you go through like 12 years of doing something and then you have to stop doing that. It's weird. So like I went into the program being really bitchy. Thankfully you didn't have to hear my like, we had to introduce ourselves. Mine was, hi, my name's Fiona and I didn't go to Concordia, so I guess I'm here and my goal is like I was so like bitchy and ornery and like nihilistic, and like thankfully I became less nihilistic.
That's good.
But like, because it was funny, because at the end of it all, Chris was like, so Fiona, I remember when you came in, you're like, well, I wasn't blah, 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 blah. How do you feel about that now? I'm like, well, I'm happy I'm here, because this was probably way better than Concordia.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like, I remember that first day was just, frankly, it was torture because I am, in case you haven't noticed, and this may come as a shock based on the fact that I don't shut the fuck up most of the time.
Same.
I am so goddamn introverted. Like, it hurts. So, I remember that first day, or that first week, rather, I was, like, by myself, just brooding in the corner.
So was I.
Yeah. Dude, man, we're edgy. We're cool. We're not like the others. Yeah. But I think, like, later on, it was just like, okay, these people are cool, and I am slowly becoming less edgy.
Yeah, it's like what I did.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, so we basically just had the same character development path. Yeah, it's just in different groups, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sad that we never got to be in the same group. That made
For real, yeah.
Because I remember, not to be disrespectful in my program, but I did sometimes sit there and be like, well, if I could swap out this person with that person.
You too? You too? there's a lot of times where I was just like, okay, so here's how we're going to do this. We're going to treat this person.
It's like hockey teams.
Exactly.
We're like treating our
Yeah,
people.
it's just like, okay, so this person is worth 2 of these people. So we're going to trade these people, switch it around, and then bam, that's it. Not naming names, but we
No, not naming names. We know we would have. Actually, that's one thing is, thankfully, anyone who, like, kind of gave the program problems ended up, like, leaving, like, after the first semester, which is, for sure, not to be mean, but that was kind of helpful because, like, even though, like, second semester was, like, really chaotic and no one knew what was going on, at least they didn't have to deal with as many, like, like, people. There was still, like, drama, but, like,
Oh, yeah.
it wasn't, like, situated around the same collective individual.
Like, it really separated the wheat from the chaff at the
It
end.
did.
Which is good. I mean, yeah, but overall, this was definitely fun. I have a lot of fond memories.
Yeah.
I remember, wait, hold on. Do I remember?
Mm.
I remember,
Do you remember? Remember?
I remember do I remember the
The
21st night of September?
September.
Well, I was probably,
Oh, was this in the time when everyone was really high?
no, I think that was in October, probably.
That was very much in October. I remember that day.
That was an interesting day. Let's see, what was the 21st night of September? That was a Wednesday.
Are you proclaiming the 21st?
Yes. So let's see nothing happened on the 21st of, well, nothing significant enough to throw on my calendar. Someone probably remembers the 21st night of September this year. I mean, I don't know. Every day, every 21st of September, I make sure to remind myself of that. I'll mark it off on my calendar. And then whenever it gets to the 21st, I'm like, oh yeah, it's all come together.
Now, the bigger question is, do you wake up when September ends?
I do wake up when September ends. But I'll, I have to, someone has to wake me up before I go, you know? You know what I'm saying?
Well, you can't be hanging on like a yo-yo.
Nice.
To move the rain stick to this pony.
Hold on, I could, there we go. I don't have to move it all the time. You don't have to hear, the trickling effect. This is, this is cool. It's interesting, you know?
Yeah. For anyone who, I'm sure you guys know, Patrick has a rain stick.
Yes.
We're just kind of admiring it, right? We're admiring Patrick's stick.
Well, I do that on many occasions. It's like, just look at the intricacies, you know?
Well, there's these little, little nuggets of wood. It's like a beautiful...
I thought you were going to say nuggets of wisdom. It's just like, oh yes, the many intricacies and wisdomnesses of the wood.
The wood wisdom.
You know what? I just remembered a great memory.
What?
So, for a little bit of background for those who don't know, we had a music introduction to music basics.
Oh, yes.
Where we, talked about, musical instruments and stuff like that.
Oh, yes.
And there was one presentation that I did with a few comrades.
Yes, I remember.
As that, you see, I've had a lot of weird presentations in my day, but I think that was the one where I was the most unhinged.
Very much so.
I think it might have been in vlog 16.
Yeah, it's the entire presentation is in the vlog.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, so I remember my goal was to be entertaining.
It was very entertaining.
That's good. I did something right. Because as long as, the way I see it, the worst thing a presentation can be is boring.
Oh, yeah.
Because if no one's paying attention, you're not learning anything from it.
Holy fuck, that was really cool.
I killed a fly.
Dylan just like Mr. Miyagi to fly with his hand. That was insane.
Okay.
Anyway, back to
Sorry, side tangent. I was woken up 6:30 this morning by a random fly in my room,
Ew, no.
and I spent about a good 30 minutes trying to hunt it.
Oh my god, you're like me. I'm the designated fly killer in my house. Thing is my parents got smart, so we have these 2 electric fly swatters. So whenever there's a fly in the house, you'll just see me running around and these 2 fly swatters like, get back, you motherfucker. Like, I swear at the flies, and when I kill them, I'm like, yeah, that's what happens when you fuck.
Sorry, that reminds me of another fun side tangent story. So, one Halloween, there's always this haunted house in my neighborhood. And I remember I ruined it for me and my friends forever because I forget, I was dressed up as Ike from Fire Emblem.
Nice.
And I remember, so I had my sword and everything, right? And so I walk in and this person in a mask like charges at us. And I hold up the sword at them and they're like, hey, that's dangerous. You can't do that. And I was just thinking like,
It's styrofoam.
no, actually, it was wooden.
Okay.
But I was just like, you ruined the magic, man. Damn it. Now I can't be scared.
How am I supposed to live up my Fire Emblem fantasy fighting off all the mortal savants and grimoires if you're just not gonna play into the ass? Just, dude, come on.
Get your head in the game. I am trying to kill you to look cool. God.
It's like the time I went to a haunted house and I accidentally kicked one of the people in the head because they grabbed my leg.
I'm sorry.
So, and then, not to dox myself, but I went to the Governor General's residence because they would put to a haunted house in the souvenir shop.
All right.
And I was walking through and they had a guy under a table who would like jump out and grab your leg. And I got so scared that I like shook my leg. I'm like, do it the guy in the head. And then I just booked it out because I was like, that's not it.
I mean, that's just kind of weird. And it also feels like a charge just waiting to happen, you know? It's just like, you're like, oh, fuck you. And then you just like, I wonder if that dude has like a concussion or something.
Or like a star from some like 8-year-old. That's the thing with Saunders Farm. At least they don't touch you, so you can't like.
Exactly. Like, I've only been to Saunders once. That was a fun time.
It's really fun. I've gone like twice. The thing is though, because I'm a dickhead, I like to just say stupid shit because the actors will come up to me and be like, "Rah," and I'll be like, yo, you know where there's a Wendy's? I'm trying to get a Baconator.
Are we the same person? Because on countless occasions, I remember the one time I went, I was just shouting absolute nonsense.
That's what I do. My friend and I are on the hayride, and like the guy with the chainsaw's chasing us, and we're like, "Do you have any sashimi?" And like, just that, we're just probably ruining it for all the people by being stupid.
You see, like, one of the most fun things ever is just, like, you see a random person, and you just try to, like, weird them out. I remember one time, I was at the dorm here.
Oh, joy.
Yeah, and I was, just hanging around, and there was one guy, and he was walking by, and I was like, did you know that I once bought lettuce off of a man with no limbs? A poor guy, like, English wasn't his first language. So he was just like, what? And I was just like, yeah, I once bought lettuce off of a guy with no lips. And he was so confused to the point where I just felt bad. And I was like, I'm just pulling your leg. You can go now. And he was just like, oh, okay. And that was the one time I've ever felt bad about doing that. But I had another incident on, two incidents in one night.
Don't joy.
I'm a hater of children.
Same.
So, I'm on the O train with a few people.
Famous last words.
Yeah. So there's these two obnoxious little kids, right? And they're just running around the train. And I'm looking at them very judgmentally because what else do I do? And one of them looks back at me, and both of them turn to me, and they're just like, "Are you gonna punch my friend?" And I give him like this little grin, and it's just like, maybe.
Oh, no.
If you want proof, ask Logan. Ask Logan. He can, like, ask Logan and Gabby. They can confirm that I have in fact done that. And they kind of just like one of them was just like, "Damn, okay," and then kind of just scampers off. But later that night, there's another instance where there's this one kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's being an obnoxious shit disturber.
Mm-hmm.
And, listening to some Foo Fighters, as one does. This kid sits next to me, like right next to me on the bus, which is like, ew, gross, get away from me. There was even a stain on that seat because it's OC Transpo. And this kid is just like, "Excuse me, do you know if the 96 is still running?" And I was like, "I don't know." And he was just like, "Could you check?" And I literally turn to him. I say, "I don't feel like it." And then I put my AirPod back in, and I hear him just about to go like, "What do you mean by that?" And I just put it back in, and the opening guitar riff for Everlong continues. And in that moment, I was just like, I am so fucking cool.
One time when this is recently, I was on the bus, like, I don't remember where I was going, but I was on the bus, and it was like, recently because school had just gone out, like the De La Salle people were graduating.
Okay.
And I say that because I was on the 6, and that's where all the De La Salle kids were getting on the bus, and there are these 2 girls sitting behind me, and oh my god, like there's an unspoken rule on OC Transpo. It's that when you're talking, you don't talk really loud. I know it's a public bus, but like for most of my life, I've taken the bus, and there is the unspoken rule of just lower your voice, because like not everyone wants to listen. But these 2 were like they were talking really loud about stuff, and I'm just sitting there. I didn't have my headphones that day for some reason, so I'm sitting there listening to this conversation. I'm like, you could have this conversation at a lower decibel than you are right now. Like, why? Like, I get like, they're probably like 9th graders, but like, also now that I'm out of high school, listening to like younger kids talk about high school, I'm like, what? Oh god, you guys are taking this way too seriously. Like, sure, I took it seriously, but I know now not to take it seriously. Like, it's not as crazy as you're thinking. It's really not.
I remember when I was still at my old work, and there was a few people there that were younger than me, of course, and they all went to the same high school as me, and this was just at the start of this school year.
Mm-hmm.
And they were complaining. It was just like, it's great and all, but 2 of our friends, they keep making out everywhere. And I was like, excuse me. And they kept complaining about that. And I was just thinking to myself, see, my friends were never like this, In high school, my friends were, if we were characters, hardly know her, of course, but that was, in high school, I always made it my goal to be as weird as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one time, I was kind of just having a little bit of a freak out.
Oh, joy.
Yeah. And my friends were like, apparently I was in a perfect position one time, and they took a picture of me and photoshopped it onto the album cover of Dial It.
Oh.
And that, I don't have that picture anymore. It sucked, but I was just like, you guys are fucking hilarious.
When I was in high school, I mainly hung out with like one person because I did have like a group of friends, but then like half of them left, and then like the other half of them like were older than me, so they were kind of like distancing themselves from me.
Okay.
Because it's like, well, we don't need to hang out with you anymore because like fuck you. But right, like I hung out with like this one person who's my best friend of like 7 years now.
Yeah, okay.
It's funny because they hated me when they first met me because I was in college. I was annoying as fuck, and they were like, Like they were like maximum edginess teenager. Like I think of a cloud death. Like and Tokyo Ghoul. Like that's
A real cornerstone of edginess. And just like, I watch Tokyo Ghoul.
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. But anyway, I guess they kind of just succumbed to my bullshit, and we became friends.
Is it basically just Stockholm syndrome at that?
Don't know. I've asked them like, you hated me. Like, what changed? And they're like, I don't know. I just stopped getting tired of your shit. And I'm like, okay. So like from grade 9 all the way to like I'll say grade 12, they did transfer out like in grade 11, but we still kept in contact.
Okay, that's good.
And it was just us doing like the stupidest shit.
Oh yeah.
Like we were always together.
Mhm.
We were always like spewing like the stupid shit. For some reason, we had to do a project on a man called De Police. I don't remember his first name, but his last name was De Police. And then literally anytime we saw a cop car go by when we were in school or we were out on a field trip, she and I would just go, oh my God, it's the police.
Oh my god.
Oh my God.
Well, you see, usually whenever I see the cops, you know, I'm not. I said dox myself, but I usually just like, oh shit, they're gonna catch me. For what? You don't know. I am wanted in several states. Yeah. So,
In the U.S.
let's just say I'm not allowed to vote in Wyoming. I'm not going to elaborate.
Well, at least it's in a flyover state that no one cares about.
Yeah. Do you ever just look at, and if you live out here, this isn't any slander or anything, but at the same time it is, but not against you. But you just think like, okay, do people live in like places other than like the Northeast and like California and Texas and Florida?
Yeah, because it's like I've never seen a singular. Well, no, people live in Rhode Island. I know that. I think, and maybe old people too.
Dude, come on. Everyone knows that Rhode Island isn't real. It's just where, you know, they make Family Guy. Like, Rhode Island isn't real. It's just, you know.
It's just the set of Family Guy.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just like,
You just drive in there and just it's like a 2D cartoon. You just hear Lois sing the Family Guy.
it's just like, you go in, and the only thing is just, you hear is just, I better.
You turn on the radio. It's Ames today. That's just that on repeat.
Oh my God. It's just like, you go into Rhode Island, and suddenly you're just voiced by Seth MacFarlane. And it's just like, hey, Peter. That sounds like my own personal hell.
I have been to Minnesota. What was that like? I should rephrase. I got stuck in Minnesota on the way home from California. So we were flying from like a Christmas vacation with my family in California.
Right.
And I think my uncle's travel agent fucked up because we got stuck in Minnesota for 3 days in fucking freezing cold Minnesota. And we're like, first off, we went to this like 4 Points hotel, and it was shit. It was horrible. Like we had to stand in line outside in the freezing cold, and the door kept like opening and shutting. So like the cold was coming in. We couldn't get any food.
Really?
And I was like a child at that point. So like not being able to get food for your child, it's not
That's right.
great.
That's rough.
So anyway, we decided to just sleep through the night, try and like go to bed. But then we kept getting awoken by a phone saying that like, oh, you ordered a wake up call, and it's like, no, we didn't. We did not. So like that was our first night in Minnesota, and it was shit. But the second night, for me, that was prime of like childhood because we went to this Best Western,
Okay.
and like it was a pretty okay hotel room. It was like on the ground floor. I got to watch PBS Kids, which was really great because we didn't have PBS Kids like on cable back in my house. So
Right.
but there was a pool, and I, as a child, love like pools and beaches, and this pool was like a kid's like dream. Like it had like a whole water park. It had like these like water slides. There was one that was like in the shape of like a pirate shipwreck. It was like it was so cool. I spent 3 hours. My parents have like confirmed this because they were there. I spent 3 hours in that pool. Just like playing, which was nice because after the horrible 4 points incident, it was nice for them to be able to let their child have some happiness in cold, dark Minnesota. And also the reason we were stuck there was because Delta Airlines lost our luggage and it was stuck in Toronto, and then we had to wait for another Delta Airlines flight. God damn it, Delta Airlines.
I don't know what's worse, like being stuck in Minnesota or having your luggage stuck in Toronto. Was it Pearson Airport?
I don't know.
I was assume it was
years old.
For the plot, I'm going to assume it's Pearson Airport, and that's like the worst place you can be. Like the worst, literally, I think the worst ranked airport in the world. But also that takes me back a little bit because my dad and I are like big football fans.
Mm-hmm.
So one year we went to the CFL Grey Cup in Hamilton, the last one. And that was interesting because it's a lot of drunk old people in the hotel, right?
Oh, dear Lord.
Yeah. So I think at 3 in the morning one night, 3 in the morning one night, oxymoron, but that's what they call me, the oxymoron. I hate myself. Anyways, yeah, so there was, at 3 in the morning, there's a random fire alarm. And my dad and I wake up and we're just like, oh, fuck. And we get outside and we don't even know if there was an actual fire.
Mm-hmm.
If it was probably caused by a drunk old person. If there wasn't, it was probably a drunk old person pulling fire alarm, Which, on the note of fire alarms, sorry, I have a lot of weird stories that slowly connect, that, like, have a very loose connection. I remember, this is another Queen's Homecoming story. One night, someone pulled the fire alarm, of course, at the dorms. And I don't know why, but one of my friends, I think, just randomly gave me a condom. I know, that's funny. Me with a condom. So, anyways, whenever you go back in, it's like a rush, like a giant group of people just fucking charging.
Run! It's a stampede!
It's literally like that. And then, they have to check your hands to see if you pulled the fire alarm, because there will be a lot of ink on it, right? So I charge up, like, hella fast. Show them my hand. There's a condom in my hand, and they blow it off. But I get back in, and I'm just like, there's a condom in my hand. And I told my friends that, and they just died of laughter. And I was just like, God damn it.
I think it's just funny that you, of all people, were found in a closet. But then again, who am I talking? I have like 5 in my purse for like no fucking reason. Because I went to health services because they've been trying to help me with a lot of my fucking health problems. And I'll just be sitting there and then there's like the box of just free condoms and dams, and I'm like, it'll be funny if I just kind of took some of these. Like, I'll just take.
Oh my God. I have gotten so many free ones while I've been here. I remember.
Give them, dude.
Exactly. They give it out like Halloween candy. One day I remember I was in the A building and there was like a little bit of a PSA.
Oh my God, is this the one where you guys got the flip books?
No, that wasn't it. This was a different one.
Actually.
But it was a scenario where it's just like, okay, you listen to our PSA and we'll give you the condom, but also a cupcake with a dick on it. And I was just like, I was thinking to myself.
Yeah, I wish I was there. That would have been cool. For real.
And I was just like, what kind of person would say no to a cupcake with a dick on it? Someone with sanity, of course. What is that, me?
Oh.
No, I lost my sanity ages ago. What? boy.
That reminds me of when I actually had the sex education talk in school. They would mix the grades, so it was me and the grade 8. And they sat us all down at tables, and they had someone come in and talk about it, and explain a condom, put it on a banana, the whole shit.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Now, that's not where the story ends, folks, because they're like, now we have a lot of contraceptives, so each one of you is going to get in a group, and we're going to have you do a tiny presentation on each contraceptive. What? Don't ask me why. But what's really funny is there was like a couple groups, and they were like mixed, like girls and guys, but there was one group of all guys, and you'd think that they'd be smart and give the guys, the condom, the thing they use. No, they gave this entire group of guys an IUD. An IUD. and my group got the condom, which was all girls. So, you just have to imagine these, middle school boys trying to present what an IUD was with a straight face.
No, I'd be giggling like a little school.
Oh my God, it was... Oh my God, and then, the next year we had to do a presentation on, drugs and alcohol, addictive substances, and my friend and I were doing alcohol. And this is the same friend who I used to do really dumb shit with, and it was mainly us sitting at my house, making the stupidest presentation ever. It was literally in our Google Slides, it was just booze prez. And the picture was, Kermit getting drunk.
Oh my God.
And, it's very interesting when you have, a bunch of high schoolers having to talk about magic mushrooms and weed and alcohol and all that kind of...
Wish I was there.
Yeah, but what's even funnier is they're don't do drugs. And that was funny because I think that was before weed became legal. But it's really funny now because when I was younger, I'm everything that I said I wouldn't be. When I was 13, I was I don't like goth people, and I would never dress in revealing clothing, and I will never drink, and I will never swear, and I will never smoke weed, and yeah, and now, it's 7 years later, I dress in complete goth clothing, I wear very revealing clothing, now that I am of legal age, I drink like a motherfucker, I smoke weed, and I've done edibles, so I've completely... If 13-year-old me saw me, they'd be like, oh my God, what the fuck is that?
I would love to see, my past self's reaction to me. Not because I didn't say I'd do any of that stuff, but I'd just be like, wow, I am a disappointment.
No, mine would just be like, oh my God, there's a fucking slut over there. What the fuck? I was an asshole when I was I will admit, I wasn't the worst, but I certainly was not the nicest person when I was younger. I have done and said a lot of nasty shit about people that I 100% would not say today.
Definitely.
But the thing is I'm not gonna completely dismiss it because I was a kid, but
yeah.
I had I recently came across one of my old high school pictures. With all the people, and for some reason I'm a person who crosses people's faces out when I don't like them.
Okay.
But the thing is, because I was cleaning my room and I found it, and I was looking at it, I'm oh, this person, I look at the people with the crossed out face, I'm this person didn't do anything to me. This person didn't do anything to me. Why did I hate this person? Why did I hate that person?
Okay.
It's it doesn't, because some people, sure, they would say one thing or they associated with the person I didn't like, but they didn't do anything.
Exactly.
Sorry, I'm getting really deep on this, but it just...
Don't worry about it.
They kind of just hit me that, for some reason I got really vengeful about people when they didn't really do anything. And it's I kind of feel bad about it, because it's
Yeah.
You look back on it and you're you weren't really as bad as I thought you were. In all honesty, you were just me. We were all just, asshole kids who did asshole things. None of us were nice.
But, it's a good thing that you have, hindsight on that stuff and just thinking back on it it's a mature thing to do for sure.
It's just because I look back on the kids I knew in middle school, the kids I knew in high school, and it's not some of you weren't good people, some of you were genuine assholes and you did do genuinely horrible things, but for the most part a lot of people were just grumpy hormonal teenagers that like didn't really understand like the consequences of their actions or words. I was one of them.
Definitely same with me, for sure.
Did I ever tell you about the time I told a girl she looked pregnant and thought it was a compliment? I'll admit that
You can tell that one, but I think we're approaching, we just passed 45 minutes, so we could probably end off on that.
I'll make that brief. I was a very dumb kid who thought telling a girl that that told a girl she looked pregnant thinking that was like a compliment because I'm that fucking dense. I felt so bad afterwards. Like, I still remember that, and I remember just thinking like, oh, I'm so sorry.
That's... Wow.
Yeah. That's gonna be on the air forever, but honestly, that's fine. I don't give a shit.
Who knows? Well,
Watch Patrick just cut this episode.
yeah, there's whenever you're editing this, sorry about that.
Sorry, Patrick.
You know what? At the end of the day, been a pleasure doing business with you.
It's been a pleasure doing business with you too.
And thank you again for coming on the show, of course.
Thank you for having me.
All right, then. And that will be all. Take care, everybody.
Bye.